Okay, now that I've tried to set the tone of the program and share the importance of data and numbers, I want to introduce you to the 8 phases of the 90-day year. The first 4 phases of the 90-day year fall into something called the matrix. And I'm going to switch over to my trusty whiteboard application to visualize the first 4 phases for you. And at the end, I'm going to show you the infographic of how it all fits together. Okay, so the matrix is a classic XY graph. And on the vertical axis at the top, we have action. And at the other end, we have reflection. On the right-hand side of the matrix, we have the future, and on the left, we have the past. Now, the way we move through this matrix to get to high performance, that place where we're working on the highest impact, highest leverage, and most important goals that will give us wins in our business and life, starts in the upper left-hand quadrant. And then we move through to the lower left, then lower right, and finally to the upper right quadrant, and into the 5th phase of transforming into higher levels of performance. So, what are the core principles of each quadrant? Well, the upper phases of this matrix is all head work. It's about nuts and bolts, data, numbers, whereas the lower phases of the matrix is all heart work. This is the emotional or creative side. Now, before I lose any of you that classify yourself as right brain, left brain, or intellectual or emotional, the funniest thing about this program has been that really intellectual, data-driven, engineering-type people loved how it transformed their feelings towards their business or tapped into their creativity. And the emotional, creative-type people loved the structure, the support, and framework it gave them to transform their business. Okay, so in the upper left-hand corner, when we add up our actions and our past, we're looking to get concrete. This is the data. Just like I talked about in the past video, getting the data, the numbers on your performance and your business sets you up to build a fantastic 90-day roadmap that leads to growth. We want the facts, not the story. We detach ourselves from whatever we're putting into these boxes in the workbook because we know that they just become the starting point for the goals we're about to set and projects we're about to complete. Now, when we're reflecting in the past, after we get the concrete facts, in this bottom left quadrant, we're going to get some insight on our past. This is all about evaluating what has happened. Up top and up here, we've got some facts. Now we're going to ask ourselves some reflective questions about how we feel about it, looking at it from a critical eye as well. So we don't get frustrated with our days like I spoke about in the past videos. And even when we do get frustrated, because we will, it's human nature, especially for high achievers, but we recognize them not as some, oh, this is going to repeat itself all over again, because we've done some heavy lifting and some heavy thinking through this process in the workbook that you're going to download and work through in just a minute. So after we get some insight in the bottom left-hand quadrant, where we move from past into the future, this is where we're going to be getting a vision and developing a theme for our 90 days. Why do we want to be doing the things that we're going to be doing in the next phase? What does it look like for us? What does our future look like? What's this upcoming or rest of our year going to have in it as experiences? This is where we begin to dream big, think big. There's some great questions inside the workbook we use as a tool to help you move through this. At the end of the day, even when we're talking about goals, you can have a fantastic framework of goals, but if I have someone who has a phenomenal why, almost any framework will work for that person. They're just so hungry. They want it so badly. Other people who don't really know or understand what their why is, they're not really driven, and consequently, they're easily distracted by shiny objects and tactics, which gets them racing all over the place. A great framework will have a rough time or tough time working for them. In this bottom area, again, like I said, it's all about connecting to the heart part of it. And if you happen to be someone that actually does have a strong why, but you're not getting any results right now, well, it's because you haven't worked out the top 2 areas and flexed those muscles. But don't worry, that's what this 90-day year program will give you, complete alignment between those 2. And now that we've worked through and developed a vision and theme for our 90 days, now we develop our action blueprint. We establish our outcome goals for the 90 days, which are organized under the theme we established in the vision area of the matrix. And we're going to be using the three-phase achievement model, which is in the next video, to establish an amazing action plan for you. This is the foundation of everything I do to help achievers win. So before you dig into the playbook, I want you to watch the three-phase achievement model video to get an idea and overview of how you're going to be showing up on the field of play in the next 90 days and beyond.